Well, I've got the old phone here, as you can tell, the lower definition. I've had a 45 watt incandescent globe in here, and I decided it's stupid. I thought I accidentally left it on today, and I thought with the dull weather, it's not going to do the batteries any good. Not that a 45 watt light's too hard, but if you know it's going to be not taking in any solar power for the next 3 days, it's not really a good idea to turn a 45 watt light on and disappear to work. And yeah, anyway, I ended up having to go to the hardware store for expansion foam. As you can tell, the wall is painted. And you can't really quite see this one, but that one there is painted. And anyway, while I was in there, they have a big clearance of all this ex-display stock and everything like that. And antique style LED lights. They got like they look like one of the old style Edison globes, but it's 4 long LEDs. This seriously looks like one of the old style Edison globes from back in the day. And it's only 4 watts, and it's bloody nearly blinding me. And yeah, as you can see, it's lighting things up pretty well. Here's a ladder. I just put it in, obviously. Anyways, wasn't bad for $5. Shit, it's bright. You'd never believe it's 4 watts. Like those little ones that I have in the kitchen and that, you know, little built-in ones that are near the stove. They run at 0.8 of a watt, but honestly, this is not 5 of them. This is about bloody 10 of the bastards. Alrighty, well, with a bit of luck, I've actually put this other video in, and I'll explain that light, and you'll be able to see the walls are actually painted in here because I use the other camera. Yeah, that's effectively made to look like an antique Edison style light globe. You know, the old one where you can actually see the filament glowing, but it's not that bright that you're completely blinded. Well, this is shockingly bright. Well, okay, it's bright enough that you don't want to look at it, but it's actually, they've tried to make it look like that, but it's actually LEDs, and it's like really thin, sausage-like LEDs, 4 of them stuck in there with a bunch of normal wire leads that go back into the base of the globe. I had a 45 watt light in here. It was only a rather small incandescent one, and that one's 4 watts, so it's about less than 1/10 the consumption, and honestly the amount of light is about equal to what it was. It's 400 lumens. Anyway, they're having a clearance at this hardware store, and long story short, yeah, I decided to grab one. Sometimes the fluoros here, I don't think they like the inverter terribly much. It's a pure sine wave inverter. I gather that some modified sine wave inverters really don't like fluoro lights, but yeah, you know, I've had ones that have buzzed and then stopped, and the other one that, I mean, you know, fluoro lights have got a lifespan. It's as simple as that. But a lot of them never sort of really behave quite as good as they do in mains houses from my memory of living at my parents' place a number of years ago. You know, it's the same with the one that's in this tool room. I'll see if I can get it to do it. It takes a second to fire up, and sometimes it's that bad I've got to actually, it sort of starts to glow, and then I've got to tap the bloody thing before it properly lights up, and it's just, I don't know, they just, you know, compact fluorescent lights don't seem to really like the inverter for some reason. But anyways, giving these LED ones a shot. I've got a second one, which I probably should get out of the cupboard so you guys can have a look. And there's quite a chance that I'll be back there, and I might get a whole bunch of the bastards. I might get another bloody, I don't know, another blasted half a dozen or something. Now that's in there. And you see the yellow bits held in with a wire. They're actually LEDs, and as it says, 400 lumens, 4 watt, and yeah, they seem to flame and work reasonably well. Most of them were screw, E27 screw. I don't like that, and my whole family doesn't like those globes. So we've got bayonet, and most of the world too also has bayonet fittings. So I started looking through and I realised there's about 10% of them are actually bayonet fitting ones. So might be back getting more. What's it say? It is non-dimmable. A lot of its other technical crap. Yeah. Anyways, I'll show you something else here. I had a big pine hanging out sideways, still alive, sitting on a box thorn. It was going to be in the way for where the tractor's got to pull all the box thorn out around the house, and I sort of thought, oh, I can cut that out when the day comes, and I thought, no, stuff it. Do it now. You know, not much else to do. I've had a reasonably busy week last week at work. I was probably there 4 days, and looks like this week it's yesterday, and I'm going to be there Friday, maybe Saturday. Anyways, because it's not sort of full time, you know, you've got to have a couple of things to do. Sometimes you flat out and you don't really get much time, and other weeks you do. And yeah, I've got the wood stove going. I've just been cooking up a bit of that stuff that you might have seen in the video with all the cheap vegetables. I've got, wouldn't bloody believe it, knocked off work, and only a couple of days prior I've gone down and got all this stuff, and I've just ate my way through most of it, and there's about 3 of those avocados were rotten in that $40 worth of food for $6 batch. And I got off work and I just go down to the shop, and sure as eggs I'm walking in and the same woman's there. I thought, you got to be shitting me. I'm 2:30 to 3:30ish, and I was there at 3:30, and bingo, she's there. And, oh, $3 bag? Oh, yep, another $3 bag. And I said, oh, that's about enough. And she goes, come on, you can fit in more. She's jamming in these oranges and tangerines and all this other shit. And I said, well, you might as well throw the mango in. So, yeah, I'm trying to cook up all that celeriac. It's been sitting in the fridge for a while, and it's all went on another too many cheapos again. Got more flaming lettuce, and I got, yeah, basically 4.4 pounds of yogurt, and that's just one tub. And then there's another tub with all cherries blended through the yogurt, and it just, I don't know, I just keep finding cheap food, and I tell you what, I'm eating better now than I've eaten for years, let's be honest. When a single man lives alone, he really eats very well, and I keep buying, and then I've got to keep trying to eat it before it goes bad. But in that, I've got another, what was it, about 6 avocados, and I shit you not, every single one of them was fine. And I ate the whole lot flaming, well, 4 last night and 2 for breakfast this morning. And anyway, cutting to the chase. Yeah, she's a pretty big hunk of wood, and this is still green. I actually pinched the damn blade. What happened was box thorns, the thing's leaning out like that, and the box thorn's here, and you got like a fork, and it's sort of sitting like that in the box thorn. And as I cut it, the bastard tried to roll sideways like that, and what happened is it went and pinched this side. You can probably see the buff marks there from where it pinched the bar. Bit of old bar oil or whatever, and what happened is I come through with a reciprocating saw, and there's another chunk here, went like that, and I come through with a reciprocating saw. Within about 45 seconds or so, I worked from one way, and then I was working from the bottom, and then she just hit the deck, and got me chainsaw back and all that. So, and then I had another bite at all this because it was sort of a bit curved. I know what it is. It's the way my dad's sharpening the chains. You go in and you don't do a straight cut, and it's because the way he's sharpening them, or the way the chain sharpener's Chinese made, chain sharpener's designed, it sort of favours one side a bit more than the other, and then it doesn't sort of cut perfectly straight, so you end up with a bit of a curvature. So I try to have another shot to take that curvature out, and ended up basically with a wedge shape. But anyways, that, as you're probably not surprised, is basically a little bit sappy still on that side. It's basically green. So what I'll end up doing most likely is just giving it a slam with the old log splitter / splitting maul, whatever you want to call it. The overweight axe that needs to go on a diet or whatever, and I'll slam through that and probably just mix it all in with the whatever green stuff I'm whatever dry stuff I'm burning at the time. I'm starting to look at a lot of this stuff, and you know, like there's a bit we're going to have to tow out. Like that's freaking big. I mean, it's seriously heavy too. And that piece alone, I end up cutting it into several bits, but that bit alone is shit. It's more than 3 meters long, you know. So yeah, that's a tow out job. It's so. And because it's green, it's also still very heavy, a lot heavier than it would be if it was dead. But I just look at all the collapsed trees in there, and I'm just looking at it. Shit, there's one here, there's one there, there's another one that's overlapped over the top of the other one, boom, boom, boom. I'm thinking, holy smoke, you know, there's going to be piles of wood. I've already carried stacks of it out that I've got leaning on the stone wall there. And it's just going to be astronomical amounts of flaming wood. So, I honestly don't know if I'll ever get all this stuff, you know. Like I used to say, I got 10 years worth of wood, and the more I look, you know, and that's not a big tree. I got ones that are, you know, that's actually you probably should measure how wide that is. She might be about, I don't know, 16, 18 inches or something. We'll have a look. Yeah, 16 inches. And that's the other way, 13 inches. That's nothing. I've got ones out there that are, oh shit, it's ridiculous there. You want to get right down near the ground where we're going to cut them, they're probably, you know, I wouldn't be terribly surprised if they're probably around 42 inches or more, I'd say. Some of the ones out there might even be nearly 45 inches across. In other words, it's over 1 metre across in the base of some of these. And first of all, I'm going to need a bigger chainsaw. Second of all, I don't have to worry too quickly because that's years away. But it's like I'm getting all this stuff and there's just piles of it. And sometimes you think maybe I should sell it. You know, but nobody wants conifer, you know, and I've got some good hardwood here. All those posts, there's still 20-something posts down the hill there that are actually still stuck in the ground that we never got out with the fence because a whole lot of them decided to lean over, but then they're stuck amongst rocks. It's like it's almost, I don't know if it's 100 years of gravity's made them lean over or what it is, but probably just arsehole sheep made them bend over by headbutting the fence enough. But anyway, there's a lot of this sort of stuff around, you know, and at times you think I should be selling it, but nobody wants conifer, and I don't really know if I want to give everybody blooming hardwood while I keep burning conifer, you know. And then there's the other possibility, I may just give it away to somebody in need, because I know a few people who could do with running their wood heaters on a more regular basis, and maybe that's what I'll do, you know. Build up some brownie points in the process, eh? Those of you who remember the days of Little Miss, I almost ended up giving her a full tandem trailer with a sheep crate full of blooming wood, and if we had it met up, you know, that would have happened. But of course, a lot of you know the story about all that. It just amounted to bloody nothing. But yeah, one of those things where you sort of think, well, I used to always say I'm sitting on 10 years worth of wood. Bloody hell. It's not 10 years worth, it's a couple of decades worth. But some of this, like, I'll just show you this bit here. The borers are getting into it. Oh, powder. You know, and this is the thing, there's some of it where the borers are badly getting into it, to the point that I've had bits where, you know, by the time you break off all the loose powdery shit, it's only half the size you thought it was underneath. So, yeah, I don't know, it might be time to tell someone if they can provide the chainsaw, or at least the damn chains. They've got the ability to sharpen chains. I'll just keep providing them with the blooming wood or something like that. But we'll see. You know, I'll probably just keep sitting on a big pile of shit and never use it. But you know, it's getting to that stage where you just start looking around and you just go, "This is bloody pathetic." You know, I'm cutting all this shit up just to basically get it out of the way. I've got stuff there. A kitchen table that is packed full of wood underneath, and I'm not joking, they're about 3 logs high. You know, it's only bloody 8 inches off hitting the bottom of the table. Seriously, that's how flaming full it is underneath there. You know, and that doesn't include, you know, that tank there, which is full of blooming hardwood, that one there, which is all little stuff. There's another big double tank thing stuck together around there. There's a concrete tank down there that's only small. It's bigger than the flipping water tank I've got around the corner here. It's definitely bigger than that anyway. It's about that size actually. And that's full of blooming, mainly hardwood. That's primarily almond in that one, with a bit of blooming radiata pine 8x8 in the front of it. And yeah, you know, sometimes you just feel, well, maybe, like you just get to the point of, it's like, just doesn't end, the amount of 4x2 that's sitting around. There's a pile out there, still other piles that are out against the fence. That's a lot of random stuff. That there is another bunch. A lot of that is actually like 6x3s and stuff like that. A lot of that's quite big. But I started to look at some of it and it's just starting to rot. And it's like, what's the point of holding on to this stuff if it's all just going rotten, you know? And there's a couple of people at church that have wood heaters and whatnot. One person, which I wouldn't be giving him anything, but anyway, won't go there. But some that I probably should be. I think a lot of these, those of you who know a little bit more about the goings-on in my life, you'll know about the Kren people of Burma. And I think all of those are in public housing, and there's no wood heaters, obviously, in public housing. But I don't think they want to encourage welfare types to play with fire on a regular basis. And that might have been something to do with that, but anyway, alrighty, here's my father's dam. It's actually starting to overflow out the right side there, and yeah, mine has gone a little bit better, and I'll show that in a second. This is a rip of the way this works. This road. What you can see there is all grass mown, and the road's sort of a bit above the rest of the earth here. And Long story short, a few years ago they sealed it all, and all of a sudden the runoff is a shitload better than it used to be. And where that white post and that white post is, there's a drain, goes underneath, and it comes straight out, and a bit muddy there, and just goes straight into this. So anyway, I'll run the gauntlet here, and we'll try not to get bogged. And I should have had more of a run up, but hey, here we go. Got through anyway. So I don't know if you can see it, the ground is actually dinted in a bit because of me having come over here so many times with soft soil and stuff like that over the last few years. I always used to drive over this way, and well, it's just sometimes a big muddy mess, so I don't. But it's actually set holes in the ground, and as you get over to there, there's another one that sort of goes across there, and that's my place in there. It's all cypress trees and shit. From basically where it turns here, right back to my house, you don't even need to hold the steering wheel. It's like being in bloody train tracks, I'm not joking. So, rainwater actually flows down the holes. This is another muddy patch here, because that is the incoming from the road for this dam. Now this is my big one now. So the reeds are right around here, and all down there, and right out over. That's where it sometimes fills to. And I've got to keep the ball moving here as I show this, otherwise I will be stuck. But that is filling up very impressively. We're at least 3/4 full there. And it's another drain out from the other dam here, which I think I might have showed you guys before, which is indeed actually full and also overflowing. There's a little water patch there, and yeah. Anyway, that's about that. If you look closely, I think you can see, I can see it, you guys can't. The IBC right there for watering the trees, but yeah. Anyway, it's the cypress trees from the side of where the, like the almond trees first and then cypress trees. But you can't see the almond trees because they're too small compared to the cypress trees. Pussy snoozing on the wood heater. Pussy snoozing on the wood heater. You're a funny cat, ain't you, hey? I've never seen him try that one. There's just the last couple of coals in there that were sort of still rumbling away. They're not even rumbling away, they're just smouldering. It should have just about gone out by now, but he seems to think it's nice and warm. Anyway, I've got a few things in here, but I've managed to pack it in quite well, and as you can see, I have a lot of spare floor space. I've got the bookshelf in the corner. Bloody hell, that bastard's heavy with all the books in there. Just trying to move it, and oh god, I was worried it was going to break something of it or whatever, and I had these stupid roller things to move it, and they've just been more of a pain in the arse than they were being a help. But anyway, we got it tight in the corner. I've strategically jammed a few other things in close side by side instead of having them in the middle of the floor. Something there underneath the fridge itself. Got nothing at the end of the fridge there, but yeah, potatoes there, power tools there. Chucked a few other bits and pieces in the corner against the end of this. Put one on the top there. That's actually sitting on the semi-flexible solar panel, which doesn't really matter because it's, you know, one of these bizarre ones you can more or less sandwich in. So, should be good. It's only a flaming, that's the first hot water system that blew up. I've still got it in the box there. Just to scavenge parts off it for the other one, if need be. Yeah. There's all this room in here. When this torch wants to play ball, you can see I don't have a great deal on the floor anymore. I have a couple of palings down there, which are supposed to go up here. And you may notice something with that one and with that one. When this valley gutter burst, it was not so good, and it's sort of no one was living here at the time, but it rotted all the ends of those rafters off basically. So I actually cut them off and sandwiched them together. They're sort of a coaching bolt thing that's like a 10mm head, but they're about, oh hell, at least 4 inches long. And he had a whole stack of them. And so I got a bit of pine there that I've sandwiched to it all, and then hooked that into the top plate. I even notched it in, as you can see there, and hooked it in. But those two palings are still got to go on here, and now I've got this wall up here. Well, you know, it's probably time to do the two palings, and I've worked out I don't need to move a great deal of the stuff to get the ladders in place to be able to put those up. I've probably just got to move that green box and a couple other things, but a bit of a wiggle around because I've got to get it out behind the fridge there, and it's a two-person job, and yeah, me and my father will get onto that at some point. This is the other two that same thing happened, of course, more than just that room. You'll see the cut mark there. I cut through that with, I think it was a jigsaw. Yeah, it was. You can see the bloody line on the side where the edge of the jigsaw base went up. And, yeah, a little bit of expansion foam. But that's all been, the dead giveaways. We've got the blooming screws in there. And we got up there about 9 months ago, and I removed all the stuff off the top of this here. And we whacked those two in place, and they come in sort of all right, except the odd bit of leaf litter keeps getting through the corner edge there. Some of which I've put expansion foam along. You can see the white stuff there. Anyway, we've got to do the same with that room in there. Been considering what I was saying about giving away a bit of timber. There's somebody with a house that's a very old house. It's a very large old house actually, and I don't know if they want I put it like this, they don't want stuff with boar in it, but that green stuff I cut down yesterday they might want, and some other stuff here, like a lot of that there is the peppercorn. Of course that's got no boar in it either, and yeah, I might go and see them, I might not. We'll see, but there'll be a few church people at least. But these other guys only live just, you know, a short distance down the road. But the thing is, when you deal with country people and timber, they, because we're all living so close to a phenomenal sized forest that you guys know goes for miles up that way. Some of you may have seen when I showed Google satellite images of that forest. It's freaking huge. And there's a bit of a tendency amongst country people to only want nice hardwood because it's so easy to come by around here that they only want nice hardwood, whereas city people will take anything they can put a bloody match to, which means radiata pine, construction pine, conifer, hardwood, whatever you got that'll burn. There's a guy at work who his mate goes camping, and the mate's busy trying to make these stupid bloody newspaper bricks because he's a city dweller, you know. And I was telling this guy about how the newspapers in here were 8 foot tall, you know, big stacks of newspapers all through the place, and he said, "Oh, I should have made bricks out of them." And I said, "Oh, yeah, I could have." And no, you should have done that instead of just burn them. And I said, "Well, like realistically, there's no point. I've got so much other wood." "Oh, but you can burn that." "Yeah, but I don't think he's got a clue how much wood I've actually got." And it's sort of a bit like trying to use cow shit to make biogas when you live in Saudi Arabia. There's so much bloody gas there. Why would you even bother trying to play around with cow shit, water, tanks, stirrers and a whole heap of piping to make biogas? You wouldn't bother because there's just no point. And it's the same with me, you know. I could never be bothered with newspaper bricks because that's effort. Whereas I walk outside and they've got flipping, like this table's got bloody logs underneath the damn table. In fact, if I turn my little torchy on, like I was saying, logs all underneath the table. And all I've got is just a little gap for me feet to go. And that's about it, you know. And there's just so much wood that, like, it's just, you know, it's like having a biogas digester in bloody Saudi Arabia. You'd be stupid to even try. Because I've got more wood than I know what to do with. But, yeah, I might go up there and see if they're interested or not. The thing is, when you cut down green stuff, and I don't cut down very much, because that's only just getting that out of the way for the tractor, that won't have borer. But then again, it's conifer and he probably doesn't want conifer, you know, so I might go up there and ask, I might not. But there's definitely people at church who live in the city, and they will grab anything and everything because they were really serious about taking the treated pine offcuts from making those raised bed gardens. I'm not joking. And I said, you don't want to cut that stuff because you don't exactly need copper chrome arsenate burning away, and do you really want that to possibly get in your rainwater? You know, probably not. It's not the done thing to burn treated pine inside a wood heater, but they're gagging for this handful of offcuts, so if they're after that, they might be getting a bit more than offcuts. Might be getting entire bloody branches at this rate. Anyways, American pussy. Anyway, usually busy running at one thing or running at another, and today I'm sort of having a bit of an easy day. So many times I go to church and then upload, and the other days I'm at work, or if I'm not at work I've been here playing around with these walls, and yeah, I might just go out. There's another stack out there that I was going to get to after winter, and well, I might as well just do it now. And there's a bunch of blasted rotten pine amongst. It's all demolition stuff, but about 80% of it's hardwood, and the others softwood, and quite a lot of the like the pine softwood is just turned completely to shit. So I want to sort of pick out that and probably throw it on my bonfire heap out there. And I might go for a little luxurious drive today or something like that, because I sort of feel that way inclined. Where'd all the old couches go? Dumped it down here beside the river. It was a very nice floral arrangement. Jeez, it stinks. There's your next bit of firewood. Let's jimmy that off. There's a little fire pit that they've intelligently filled up with dirt. Local government workers dug it all out the other day. And these guys have obviously wanted to stop their coals good and proper, so they went and filled it up with bloody dirt. Dickheads. Would have been fine just sitting there on their own. How much are you going to catch on fire with this amount of blooming green grass and wet soil? Not much. How many embers are going to blow out of something that's a foot on the ground? Not much. Yeah. There might be a coin. If you burned this, there'd be plenty of coin. Hang on. While we're on the subject, let's start looking for coins. Ever the opportunist. I think they might have done the coin run. It looks like a mouse is doing his run up the back too. No, I ain't going to get any freebies out of this one. Smart enough to think, oh, no. 5 cents. Seeing the mice has got into it, I might get a stick and just bloody fork. They chuck everything down here, they don't give a shit. I'll get a stick. I'll just go through where Mousie's had his fun and see if anything comes up. I think they're smart enough to have got most of it though. Nah.
And he used a pen and a few cigarette butts, I think. Actually, they're all filters, so they roll your own. Nah. They've been smart enough to ransack all the stuff out of it before they've done anything.
That's a 5-cent bit.
Yeah, well,
at least it wasn't a 5-cent bit in the middle of the mouse nest.
You guys know me. I've got a bunch of gloves in the car. I'll be getting the damn thing anyway, just to be doing it off camera.
Oh, there we go. That's anything we're going to get out of that. A lot of these who don't know it, you've actually got, this is just like a little curtain bit that sits at the bottom to cover up the big dirty ass frame. A lot of them you've got, they stop stitching about there, and you've got Velcro, and you can rip the Velcro up, and there's these little tabs, and often enough, especially with your recliner ones, you'll have 3 separate pieces, and you can just pull the tabs in, and then you can click the whole top out, and that's the way that you get some couches through the door, is basically unclip the entire top, and all we're doing is carrying out the base. And all of a sudden, it'll fit through the damn door a lot easier, especially when you put your hands on this side and have that on the bottom and that on the top. And then your width that's got to go through the door is basically only from the handrest down to the bottom. And that's one of the little tricks we use. Yeah, needless to say, she's a bit muddy. It's actually, it's not really high. It's not too bad either, truth be told. Yeah, it's a little bit higher than normal. So I don't know why I'm even mentioning this, because a lot of this flow is controlled by a dam that's further up, and the government just turns it up and down as they feel like it. But then some of this would be, usually it's a bit lower, but then from wherever the back of that dam is to here, which is, it's a reasonable distance, it's obviously got other inflowing water off of, you know, the surrounding land between the dam and here, which then gives it the higher level. And they may have just opened the tap up bigger on the back of the dam, if you can call it a tap. It's a fairly decent water supply that was built in the, I think in the early 60s. Yeah, usually it's all clear, but I mean, this is winter and you get a fair rate of flow and a fair lot of runoff coming into it. Brings the level up, and it certainly brings the mud up for sure. Anyway, I'll just come off the blooming car park here. 2-cent piece. They've been out of circulation for, oh shit, since the mid-90s. So it's a bit strange to be finding stuff like that. Same river, a bit of a slower flow. Obviously, still just as muddy. Ooh, black wattle. That's all this stuff here. Oh, black wattle. Parents have got one of these that drips sap all the bloody time, and not joking, you can look at the base of them and often enough see hunks of sap and crap on the ground. This one's not too bad, but there's a bit of boar or something, and there's all the sawdust from it on the ground. And, yeah, hunks of sap coming off. Doesn't really help when people hit it with an axe, but anyway. Ubiquitous blackberry. Over there's a whole big patch that's blackberry, but property that's up in here got bought by somebody else, and the public used to go on the other side, and they couldn't. These bastards decided, no, that's it, and they just fenced it all off. So I know for a fact in behind there's a whole heap of morning glory and tons of blackberry. A lot of these blackberries by the river will actually produce stuff, but a lot of these other ones that are here and there, if they're not beside a river, they usually don't produce a damn thing, really. One on my driveway doesn't do a damn thing. It's, someone's going around with a spray can on all the flaming trees by the looks of it. And the rocks. It used to be really steep, and they dug all this out with an excavator, so you could actually get down there and bloody fish or swim or whatever without just going off a flaming death drop and then continue on, and it's a bloody hell of a drop. Not to put too fine a point on it, but there was gold in this river, so back in the day. And quite a reasonable amount of gold, actually. Most of it's been gone, but sometimes you see things like trees that have been dug too close to that then collapse. And you wonder sometimes these trees that blow over, if there's not a bit of stuff under the roots or whatever. You really wonder that sometimes. I don't really feel like spending $5.5 grand on a metal detector either, only to find that there's nothing under the damn roots. You can see a lot of blackberry there, and there's even morning glory right against the water there, which is a pest plant. It's a weed. Grows along a lot of the railway lines in this state. And of course I've got some beside my house, don't I? Obviously. Out near where all the big tangled thicket of Madeira vine is, that's all morning glory on the ground, but I've killed a lot of it. It dies pretty easily when you spray it, morning glory, quite easily. A couple of trees collapsed in the water. Another one through there. You can actually weave your way through all these trees along this side, and used to be able to on the other side, and there's a little bit where it sort of goes under rocks, and it's almost like rapids. It fairly goes a decent pace because the river gets a hell of a lot thinner. Anyway, what these are coming into, trying to come into flower. It'll probably come in spring and end up white, yellow sort of fluffy balls about that big. They're just starting to form at the moment. That's the same stuff for black wattle again. It's an acacia. That's the family of tree.